Guys, little disclaimer, you guys are watching this currently. I am at Blade Show. Hopefully I set the premieres and everything up properly. You're getting to see this, but today is Friday for you. I am at Blade Show. There may be a delay in content for the beginning of the week because I'm already tired and today is definitely not Blade Show. I have several days to prepare and get ready for Blade Show. So just a little disclaimer before the video. Here comes the Papa Didn't Raise No commie. What day it is? Judging by the lack of motivation in my voice and the general malaise that I'm feeling, I'd say it's Monday. But for you guys, it's Friday. So you know what time it is. 5 Fast Friday. Turn down a volume. Here comes a little bit of music. Talk about today? Well, first we're going to talk about the fact this is Science Asylum. This is a channel I watch all the time. I just recently watched his video about how many Earths actually fit inside the sun based on how spheres actually stack inside another sphere. It was pretty interesting because they basically, when they teach you in school, all those millions, like 1.3 million or 1.4 million sun or Earths will fit inside the sun, is kind of off by about 100,000 or so, closer to about 300,000. Really interesting how he did the math and all that, and then showed an example of like 73% efficiency. Anyway, so what are we talking about? We are going to talk about 5 fighting fixed blades. What do I mean by that? 5 fixed blade knives that were basically military fighting knives at one point or still are. So without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and turn this around and take a good quick look at 5 real fast fighting fixed blades. All right, guys, let's get into this. The first knife, now this is going to be a little bit controversial. This is a Buoy knife. This is my Puma Stag Buoy. And people are going to, well, that's not a fighting knife. That was never issued. This was designed and built as a fighting knife. You read the history about Jim Buoy. This knife was the first American fighting knife. He designed the Buoy knife. Now, this is a Puma Stag Buoy. This is a smaller Buoy. This one is incredibly nice. This is an new old stock Puma made in Germany, not in Taiwan, which they've moved their stuff to Taiwan now. Beautiful leather sheath. You guys have seen this in a video before. I actually did carry this in uniform for a while because I just did not like the other stuff I had until I got something that was a little bit better. So this is basically just a stainless steel blade. This is a full tang construction, but this is basically the granddaddy of all the fighting knives that we're going to look at. Pretty much all the ones you're going to see are variations of the Buoy knife. This is a really versatile blade. A lot of them have sharpened swedges so that you can do a back cut. This one does not, but they were really, really well suited to, the rigors of what they were going to need to do. You have a blade that is skinnier here, wider here, that gives you a little bit of weight forward to give you a little bit of additional leverage to chop. You have the belly here that you can use it. This is now my camp knife. If I go anywhere, if I'm going anywhere and I'm not taking my folding Spartan from Cold Steel, I would take this. This is a really nice camp knife. Beautiful Stag handles, hand hammered, peened construction. The nickel, silver, and brass. It's just really attractive, really, really beautiful knife. I like the way this feels in hand. That's why I carried it, because it fit my hand and felt a little better than some of the other knives. So there's your first one, the American Buoy. And this one is the Puma Stag Buoy. All right, the second knife we're going to look at, this is the Cold Steel SRK. Now, this is an old school one. I have had this for years. You can see it's been carried. It's been abused. Back in the day, these were just, they're a tank. They're unbeatable. This is in the Cold Steel Carbon V steel, made in USA. Personally, that was my favorite material they ever made knives out of. If you look, this knife has been sharpened so many times, it really doesn't have its big Buoy-esque shape like it did. This is a modified clip point Buoy. The SRK was the search and rescue knife. This has their Kratex handles, really comfortable even when wet. You can see that this knife has been used a lot. This steel, I let somebody borrow this and I have not resharpened it. They obviously used a pull through on this. You can see the chattering of a pull through on that edge. Can't hold them responsible. This knife has been carried on multiple deployments by both me and friends. I have loaned this out to friends to carry. It has made multiple trips. Yeah, you can see he pulled it through a pull through. This knife has made multiple trips down range. The SRK was a really good all-around knife. This was actually issued to me by the military. These were an issue item for a while. I believe they still have those in the stock system, but with the Buy American Act through the military, I don't think they have them. They may not. But this was a made in USA. Super nice. I think I got issued this around 2005 or 6, I want to say. Really nice sheath. Cold Steel SRK was a great knife. This has been rattled around and beat around, and I don't know, there was an additional piece to this, if I remember right, that had it had 2 pieces so that you could put it just basically on your gear and not necessarily have this piece here. Retention on the sheath was always really good, still is. Secondary clip up there if you need it, if you happen to be jumping, you know, like out of helicopters, airplanes. It's always nice to have that extra loop up there. So really nice knife. It has a Velcro and snap closure on that. I love this. I think this was probably the best knife I was issued while I was in the military. Of all the knives I was ever given in the military, this is probably the best and most functional I ever had. So there you go. Your second fixed blade fighting knife fit for fighting is the Cold Steel SRK. So this third knife was issued to me, but I think that they just went to the PX and bought these because we needed new knives. They had lost an issue list and they basically got knives for everyone. They got these through the PX system. This is the Gerber Hersey Hunter. It's Operation Iraqi Freedom Edition. I did not carry this one as much. I did carry it, but I definitely, like I said, like the SRK before. But I think that they just bought these at the PX. This knife has been used, and it is a nice knife. It's just not, I don't find it as comfortable in hand as some of the others. This is the Hersey Hunter. This is more of a drop point style blade. It's not as Buoy-esque as the others. This is a very nice knife. Came with a really nice sheath. You can remove this and lash it directly to your gear. You don't have a loop, but what you have is a physical manual lock that's part of the sheath. Blade was done really well. This was a very nice Gerber. Gerber, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Gerber knives these days, but this was really nice. Nice molded shaped handle. The thing about this knife is it feels like it's in an awkward position. It actually feels more comfortable reverse grip like this than it does forward grip like this. And reverse grip like this is not how I would typically use a knife, but it does have a very comfortable Coke. God, I keep bumping the thing. Coke bottle shaped handle, good retention. This would not be a knife I would want to carry a lot these days, but it's still just another well-designed, well-thought-out knife. It's just not a knife. I think it's just my hands. Everybody else loved this knife. But the fact, like I said, multiple carry points, multiple things. These are kind of tactical-esque knives. The only problem I ever had was I couldn't really carry this on my belt very well. I always had to lash it to my gear because the belts that we wore were too thick for this. This is the one downside to this little sheath here. I kept this piece. Luckily, I didn't lose it. But it was really hard to wear on a belt, first of all, because it's long and I didn't like where it sat. So this always got lashed to my tack gear. And then I just put this back on when I got back stateside. So yeah, the Gerber Hersey Hunter. This is the Operation Iraqi Freedom Edition. Okay, a little disclaimer on this one. This knife is a knockoff. This was a knockoff of an A-Tor Jungla 463. This is a complete and utter knockoff of that knife. I hate the fact that it is knockoff. I did not buy it knowing it was a knockoff. I actually got tricked on this one. The only reason I still have this knife is because it's actually still a pretty decent knife. I hate the fact it's a knockoff, but for what I paid, really, you can see where I tried to obscure the fake mark saying it is an A-Tor. Unfortunately, you can see there, it says it's a USA custom stainless steel. Unfortunately, I would have to use a Dremel to take it off of this. But this is basically a clone or copy of an Ator Jungalo, I think they call it Ator Jungalo. And this is a Spanish fighting knife. I always wanted one of these. This, I mean, basically is one for one what they look like. I've seen the actuals. But so this was a survival knife. Came with, it actually has a really decent compass. The O-ring has split. I have to replace the O-ring in this. It has a fairly decent compass that I have tested, and it has stayed true and accurate, as long as you don't get it too close to the knife like I did. So it stayed pretty true and accurate for a cheap little knife. It has your typical stuff you would expect inside of like a survival style knife, like the old, you know, you got a fishing kit and you got sewing line, you got matches. But the cool thing about these, and the reason I wanted to get one of these, is they come with a whole nother set of survival stuff besides what's in the sheath. The sheath itself actually becomes part of the survival kit. And what you have is, in here you have a small skinning knife, and this would be true to the actual knife itself. You have a signal mirror, and there it is. There's your signal mirror, and with a viewfinder for the signal mirror. And then these actually come out, and the sheath has got a piece here. I'm trying to do this on camera, but it's really stiff. But at any rate, these pieces fold out and it turns into a slingshot. So you have the tubing. Let me see if I can get this and pull this back here, see if I can get this out. It appears as though something has maybe rusted or corroded a little here. There we go. So you lock that in place, and now you can hook your tubing, your surgical tubing on there, and you have a slingshot that you can use in the field. Like I said, survival mirror, it tells you how to use it, you know, as a signaling mirror, so that you can, you know, it's not a very clear sight scope, but you can use it to try and find the sun and then reflect it off and reflect back at, you know, what you're trying to do. It comes with the guide and all that, how to use that stuff. So there you go. That's the Jungalo 762, I believe, 463. The Jungalo 463. This is a knockoff of it. I've always wanted one, but this was as close as I got. I thought I had the real deal. It was sold to me as used, as the real thing, but I got ripped off because it is a very obvious counterfeit. It is not a Jungalo. So there you go. There's the Spanish Jungalo survival knife. And what kind of knife review channel would this be if I did not have a K-bar in a video that was 5 fixed blade fighting knives, or 5 fixed blades fit for fighting? This is the K-bar. This is the USN one, but this is a K-bar done by K-bar of Olean, New York. Now, this is one I bought. This is actually my father's. This was one I bought for my father. This is basically the same as the one I was issued. The only reason we're looking at this one is I cannot find my original issue USN one that is just plain and has been beat up. These are the epitome of what you think of when you think of a United States fighting knife. And if you look, it is very, very Buoy-esque. Clip point blade, nice and straight. It doesn't have the thinning like a typical Buoy and the widening here, but just a long clip point blade with the swedge, just real indicative of a fighting knife. These things at the time were probably the pinnacle of what was expected. The Marines still carry them. Marines still love them. I love them for what they are. I found that there are other things about this knife I wish. There's no indexing. It's a really round handle. It's hard to know what direction in the dark. Like if you fall down and you find your knife in the dark, I don't know whether I've got it facing the right way, because it feels the same like this as it does like this. It feels the same like this as it does like this. Little things, but these are extremely well done knives. Marines love their K-bars. You can't say too much about a K-bar around a Marine if you're saying bad things. They are still a very, very well-made, incredibly well-designed knife. There's a lot of other knives on the market that try to capitalize on this look. This is just the iconic United States military fighting knife. There's a lot of companies out there that have tried to capitalize on this look and do things the same. I will say that this stacked leather handle they always wear well, and even when they get wet, you have a pretty good grip. They don't get slick as long as you haven't done too much oiling of the handle. They definitely don't get slick and they stay in your hand really well. So if you did need to do some chopping, I just find that these are not a really functional tool, which is going to lead us to our honorable mention. So on this video, surprise, surprise, you get number 6. So let's take a look at number 6 compared to the K-bar. And number 6, honorable mention, because I just did never like the K-bar, is the knife I designed, which is the Stonefish. It's not that I didn't like the K-bar, I just didn't see it as suiting a purpose. If you had a K-bar or an SRK or any of those things, you always had to carry a second knife. This is definitely a lighter knife, smaller knife, but it is still capable in combat, still a fixed blade fighter in my opinion, but this also allows you some utility. That's why I called this a combat utility knife. This would have been the knife that I would have wanted. I'm just throwing it in as a honorable mention because it is a newer designed United States military style fighting knife. I designed this to be used in a combat scenario or in a military scenario where you needed multiple uses. So not trying to toot my own horn, I'm just saying there are other options besides what you just saw for fighting knives. This is a very capable combat instrument if needed to be, but it serves the purposes that is really hard to do with any of those other knives. They're too thick, they're too bulky, they're too big. You can't do a lot of utility work with one of these in the field. This, however, you definitely can, which is the 99% of the stuff that you're going to do with a knife while you are in the military is just utility day-to-day tasks, and this fits it really well. So there you go. There's your honorable mention. The Mike Emler design, CrazySharp design Stonefish by We Knife Company. There's actually a custom right here, so just so you guys can see the comparison from the customs to the productions, they stayed really true. So if you're looking into one of these and you're just curious, the customs and the production versions are very, very similar. So there you go, guys. That was 5 with the bonus fixed blades. If you guys are watching this today, I am currently at Blade Show. I'm sorry about all the noise here at Blade Show. No, I actually filmed this a few days ahead, but I am going to be at Blade Show today on Friday. So hopefully I can get a chance to do a live feed for you guys tonight. If not, just know that I tried. So let's go ahead, turn this back around and do some final thoughts behind the camera. There you go. There was 5 fighting fixed blades real fast. These are all knives that I do, like I said, I had to make the disclaimer when I brought up that green one, the Spanish fighting knife. That's a knockoff that was sold to me as the real thing, and so I kept it because, in all honesty, while it is a knockoff, it's not a horrible knife, and it still does serve a function. So it's the only knockoff that I've ever kept and not destroyed because I can see it being actually usable. So that's it, guys. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but please try to tell me why. I can't change content if you don't tell me what you don't want to do. You know, if you don't want to see something, I can't change it if I don't know. There are multiple ways if you want to support the channel. The easiest way is just sharing the videos with somebody you think would enjoy the content. But if you want to try and support the channel financially, there's multiple ways. I have a join tab down below that gets you into exclusive content, exclusive giveaways based on tiers. Baseline and premium tiers get into giveaways. The exclusive content for sharpening tutorials is reserved for the premium tier guys, but I do some B-roll stuff that everybody in the premium baseline tiers gets to see. I have affiliate links down below if you want to go shopping. You can use any of those affiliate links. I have a list of knives that I recommend as EDC stuff. I have a list of tools that I use around the shop here for maintaining knives and cleaning up and things like that. When I did the What's Inside series, I showed a bunch of those tools. I may start those up again. The other stuff that's in there is a list of sharpening stones and things like that is there at the very bottom. So if you can do some shopping on Amazon, feel free to use my affiliate links. I have an Ember Shirt Co. store that has both my merchandise store and the Ember Shirt Co. itself. Any of those shirts, if you use the code CrazySharp, capital C, capital S, all one word, CrazySharp, capital C, capital S, you save 10% at checkout. So that's about all the ways to support the channels, guys. If you're new to the channel, I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I do know I have a bunch of new subscribers. I am going to revisit some older videos in the future that have done well that not everybody got to see. They're kind of buried, and I don't want to tell people, oh, you should go look for this. So that's it, guys. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Keep it clean in the comments section. It helps me moderate it. There will be live feeds 3 days a week as long as I can support it. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.